Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? Because it's time to put them on. Because the conversation starts now.
And my cup.
May it runneth over with good things.
Yes.
Oh,
got my books.
Your face. Hold on. As they say, let me get a full frontal.
Might regret that.
Oh boy. Okay. And now the next one.
Oh, it's hard to see the title with the lights, isn't it?
Yeah, with the lights. That's
Yes.
good. But I want to see your face in the book. All right. 5 steps to end financial foolishness. All right.
How unhealthy relationships impact wealth.
Okay, because see, I can't see that part down there. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's hard to get it just right.
That's all right. You got it just right inside the pages.
That's
Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains, the location, the spot, the place where the conversation is pointed and the guests are sharp, the responses are never dull. And today we got Kimberly L Wilson. Yes, indeed. She's an ex-Marine. Does she look like a Marine to you guys? No, but I bet she could take your butt down.
And I got to correct you just a little. No such thing as an ex-Marine. We are former Marines.
Former Marine.
Always a Marine.
Well, let me stand corrected, okay? Because I'm a Navy wife and I'm a former Navy wife because he's retired.
I love it.
But she works with women from burnout, to brilliance. She works with business women. And what woman is not burnt out? Even if it's the business of running a household.
Yes.
She's a trainer. She's a speaker. She's an author. She works with people in that mental health space, because all of us is 5150. I don't care what you say. We all got a taste of crazy. And that's not a bad thing, but you got to know how to manage it. Right. You got to know how to recognize it. And you need to know how to resolve it and get help for it if it's something beyond your control. So we're going to talk to Kimberly about that and a whole lot more. Welcome to On the Edge, Queen. Oh, and you know what else we're going to talk to her about? I'm going to call her out on her TikTok. Baby, she's a TikTok queen. I can't do a TikTok. I just don't have the patience for it. And yours are so engaging, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit more. So tell us how you show up in the world.
How I show up in the world, I like to show up authentic and true to myself. And one of the things that I've done, my initial plan, right, for stepping into this year was I was going to be on my social media, just grinding it out. But the actual time came and I realized instead of being in that masculine energy of doing, I needed to step back and reflect. I needed to clean some house. I needed to step out of the light a little bit so that I could grow and shine in different ways. So serving women. So I have been serving my private clients and working toward, in April, I'll be coming back out. And that's because I really wanted to be me. I didn't like the grind that I was on.
Right,
and I needed to step back.
Right. Well, sometimes you got to step back to be able to step to the side, step forward. We don't always have to keep forging ahead. And that is one of the things that causes burnout, is that people are on full throttle. They just, they never take time to just kind of settle in to a new experience. So bravo for you for recognizing that and walking in your truth. You know what? People use the word authentic. Define your definition. Give me your definition of authentic, because you know what, honey, you see some folks that ain't got their teeth in, they don't have their eyelashes on, their wig is off, girl, that's their authentic self, and it ain't a cute look. What's your authentic look like?
This is very true. So when I talk about authentic, I mean in terms of my personality. So you get what you get. And as a retired Marine, some F-bombs might come out, a little bit of personality, a little bit of sass, sometimes a little bit of class. I am a Detroit native, so all of that comes together, and I can be as polished as you want, and I can get down with the gutter snipes if I need to. So
right.
you never know who you're gonna get, but you are gonna get me. I'm not trying to be anybody else.
Right. And, again, it depends on the situation on how you're going to show up, what you got to do. A lot of times Black women get a lot of flack for that because we give it to you, not 100, we give it to you 110, 150. And if you out of line, you might get it 200%.
Right.
But it is our authentic self. And sometimes it is misconstrued and it can be harsh.
Yes.
And sometimes we're harder on ourselves than others are. What do you say to that woman that is out there, that sister that's out there in the corporate world and that, the red bottom shoes and that cute little pencil skirt, but her co-workers is talking about her like a dog because she is, she's complicated.
Right. And definitely been there in the multi-dynamic layers of that. It's you need some type of village or support just to survive that environment. And if you don't have it in there, I would encourage everyone to have some type of mentor that you can talk about to make you, just so that you have somewhere to validate some of those feelings and concerns, because that environment will have you believing that there's something wrong with you, that you don't see the things that you see, you don't hear the things and that you're just not fitting into that environment. You're too angry or too aggressive. And if you don't have someone validating and supporting and nurturing your career, then it can be very toxic. And that's a lot of times why women, I've seen a lot there, this shift, especially since the pandemic, to want to figure out their own zone of genius and create a nurturing environment for themselves in a business, whether it's as a side hustle or it's to step out of that corporate environment. But I think a mentor is just so valuable and viable to your mental health. And
so I want to really tap into the diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of this. Okay. So now let's talk to white women. You got the sweet little Susan that is meek and sitting there and just goes along to get along and doesn't make any waves. And, the people pleaser, the overachiever. What do you say to her?
And I think we all have some of that. I mean, because we're socialized from the very beginning to be nice little girls,
right?
And and to nurture and watch out for everybody's thoughts and their feelings. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong to have empathy for others and to be considerate, right? That it's good to be considerate. But once you begin to notice that people pleasing and nurturing of others and being quiet begins to take hold of your spirit, and you begin to feel sick, you have a headache, your body will begin to tell you, right, that something's not right. Like I know, because immediately it feels like either cats are scratching my stomach or it just begins to constrict. And then I get a headache and I start losing things. That's my early warning system that something isn't right, that if I didn't catch it, to identify if you've gone to a toxic place with the people pleasing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I want to bridge these two together. I want to bridge the sisters along with our, other sisters of color and white women, because it seems like women are taking over the planet. But if we do not join forces, okay, talking to a retired Marine, if we do not come together as one unified unit, the whole thing goes kaput.
Right.
And so you have to have a strategy. You have to have a mindset. You've got to be open to know that we are one.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. We are one unified front. When you go out into battle, it's not the women over here. It's not the thin ones over here. It's not the blue-eyed. We are all one. How do we come together to support one another?
And that is such a good question. I think a lot of that comes from the scarcity that's placed in the masculine, and the need to dominate and compete rather than to collaborate. Because when we work together, I mean, we create masterpieces, and supporting one another and asking, where do you need support? How can I help you? How can I assist you? I know one of the things I've personally taken on in any type of role, and I'll do it even to this day. If there's a woman that needs information or help or pointed in the right direction, or if I can share something with someone, I do that. And it's sometimes done for me as well, because sometimes I need that. I think I just had a young lady, as a business owner that calls like, hey, I've been thinking about going into psychology. And I'll spend 20, 30 minutes telling her how it really is.
Yeah.
So collaboration and being willing to support them in the ways that's helpful to them, not how you think they need help.
But also education and conversation. Mm-hmm. Ask the question. Don't assume. Right. Don't, you never know what's going on in somebody's head, in their household, their finances, their health. You don't know. So if you are working with someone that you feel is a little combative, girl, I have taken the enemy out to lunch. Oh, yes. But when we're in a different environment, the whole dynamic changes. Right. Because it's no more competition. And then when we go back to work, it's a great place.
Right.
And
when people figure out where you're coming from and
right.
and who you are beneath that veneer of competition, and you're going to take my job and you're going to take this or whatever, or outshine me, and they find out your humanity.
Right.
It just changes so much.
It does. I did that with my daughter, girl. She was having problems with her teacher. Oh, the math teacher hated her. Yes, honey. Because she wasn't doing the math work. That's what it was. I invited him to dinner. She opened the door and saw that joker standing at the dinner. I thought she'd seen a ghost. What are you doing here? Sat here, girl had smothered pork chops, rice, gravy, greens, yams, and cornbread. The child got an A in the class. I don't know if it was my cooking or
you made me hungry now.
or if it was really an authentic connection. But I know that there was a good morning. I know that her books were open. I know that there was a vested interest that he showed in her, because he saw that her parents really cared. So again, reach out. Sometimes you got to do the, extraordinary to just get an ordinary response. Let's talk about mental health. Yes. Girl, mental health is scary. Okay, it's scary. And I'm going to tell everybody it's scary. I love to help the overlooked and underserved out there on the streets, but sometimes you see them with them 15 other people that's living inside of their head, or they're very docile. You don't know where they're coming from. They're in a lot of pain, approaching people. You see the police now. They are here in San Diego. They're working very diligently to create PERT teams to go out when there are mental illness challenges. Right. Before, you called a peace officer and he brings his peace with him, and then the piece that's left is the individual on the ground. Right. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. And we don't want to judge, but it's not something that you can see very clearly. It's not a blemish. It's not a scar. It's not cancer. It's not, congenital heart failure. It's not lack of oxygen. It's in your brain. What do we do, Kimberly, to just, number one, come to grips with it and be honest that there is something going on? And number two, how do we address it in the gentlest way that allows people respect and dignity, but protects us from, the unknown?
Right. Woo! That's a big one.
That's a big question.
Yes, and it's a multi-systemic issue, and one of the first issues is that we have the least trained. We're bringing guns to a conversation fight. Right? We can't have a dialogue when there's an inequitable relationship. So having those mental health people on call to be able to serve and to educate, even just the basic conversations in school, in community centers, just making it the norm and available would help dramatically in many communities. And I find this across the spectrum of cultures and ethnicities. Mental health, it's more accepted now, but it's still taboo. It's still action and just some basic knowledge about conversation. We don't even know how to talk to one another, even when there's not mental health issues. Just teaching some conflict resolution or how to communicate. We're so busy texting, and I hate to just reduce it to technology. But just as we talked about in the workplace, having some education, some conversations, and some support for those police officers. We ask them to do something they're not trained to do. We ask them to do things that they are not trained to do, and that's completely unacceptable. And we wonder why the outcomes are as they are.
Well, I tell people all the time, when you call the peace officer, it's not for milk and cookies.
No,
you're causing them to help you resolve a conflict. There is something that's going on that's beyond your control that you need an equalizer, somebody to come in and neutralize the situation. Right. And when police officers come, or even military personnel, not all of them, but they have seen death, destruction, lies, manipulations, murder, dead bodies. That's what they're trained to do. Right. Brains all day long. I am an advocate for only having 10 years in the field as a police officer, and then transition out, go work in the office, go do some community service, get some normalization back into your life, pace yourself, because everybody's a suspect. Everybody's a suspect. And that's ingrained in you. That's not, that's not to say that they're bad police officers. When all this stuff was going on with George Floyd and they talk about defund the police. No.
They have a very specialized role. We need them.
Right. But bring in other individuals, other groups that can support them, because they have challenges as well. We don't know if there's alcohol. We don't know if there's domestic violence in the home. We don't know what their kids are, their health. It's a whole plethora of things that can go on that can turn you from a flicker to a flame.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, I really love the rotating idea of them getting experience in so many various areas and getting some relief and some breaks. Because my father's actually was the chief of arson for the city of Detroit. Now, I don't know if you know anything about the city of Detroit, but it's famous for arson and fires and things like that. So he's seen a lot of bodies, a lot of death, and they also have police powers. And my sister is a Detroit police officer. So I definitely am an advocate for the police and civil service. But they need support.
Right. So let's talk about some fun stuff. You and the ticketed talk. Now, I noticed that you have a unique approach. Everybody's very creative with TikTok, but I noticed that you use a lot of words. And I like that because it engages your psyche. Instead of being talked to, you're more interactive. Oh, okay, I've got to read this. I've got to respond. I've got to think. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. What was the brainchild? What gave you that idea?
Well, I mean, I use a lot of words, and I really didn't believe that me dancing or making jokes really showcase and supported to be able to assist people. That's not going to change your life, me learning the latest dance or me dubbing myself. I wanted people to have some transformation, that even if you didn't work with me, that you got something to take away from it, something to hold on to. Because sometimes that's all people need is a word.
Right.
There's so much ministry and power in words, and we don't use them as often. So that was my goal, and that was my
hope. Or people use them in a destructive manner, because words are very powerful. You know, they can transform your life. I know people that are verbally abused and not physically abused, and they're more so damaged because they keep hearing that, that negative self-talk, that neuro-linguistic programming. They can't change that inside their brain, and that's not good.
Yes.
Let's talk about the books that you've written. You have a journal and a book. Can you share that with me?
Yes, and they were both written by my clients. I kept noticing they were struggling with the same issues. Now, this first one I wrote some time ago is called 5 Steps to End Financial Foolishness, How Unhealthy Relationships Impact Wealth. I saw so many women who were the workhorses, the breadwinners, the achievers for their families. They're going to help out cousin Pookie and sisters, this sister and that sister, that they didn't know how to say no. And to look at this, that this is not a healthy dynamic. And I found myself, I kept saying the same things over and over again. I said, you know what, I need to write this down so that they can have it and get it, because there's more than just my clients. And the other one is Unlocking Me, the Key to My Authentic Self. And what I love about this book, let me see if I can find one of these pages, is it's multi-systemic, meaning that it asks questions about the self, friends and family, if you what's going on in your community as a business owner. And it also has, let's see if I can show this. This means that it might be a triggering thing.
Oh, okay.
So choose wisely if you want to respond. And one of the questions that I ask in here is, when did you first learn that you needed to take everybody else's shit?
And
I
who
hope that
taught
didn't
you
offend
that?
anyone.
No, girl, please. And if you did, we got Pampers.
I love that.
But, really, I am a strong proponent on teaching people how to treat me. I got a course. I'm flexible, but on some things, I'm unyielding. So how do we handle this thing called conflict resolution?
Right. Well, and to handle conflict resolution, you've got to have a commitment to you. You have 2 ears. They are more than your one mouth, to be able to hear and understand the other person's position. Have some empathy. So with the people that are in my life, we each get to share what our challenges are in the relationship, but that isn't an opportunity to then but them. It's an opportunity to reflect our understanding of what they just said. And then after we get clarity and at least state that, then the other person still has an opportunity to either deepen our understanding of that or correct what our understanding is.
Oh, that's good.
And I love that so much better. And then now there are pauses in between each opportunity. So you just, if it's too heated, sometimes you need to take it, reflect, step back, come back to it, and then get to well, let me share what I was trying to do, what I intended to do.
Right. Right.
And apologizing. I think if we can just get to that sometimes, because I don't believe that most people intend to hurt or offend. I believe that we are all carrying these wounds. We come with the best intention. We may feel like we are being attacked and we need to defend ourselves. And sometimes it's just a matter of, oh, I didn't know that's where you were coming from.
Yeah, I've been a victim of that and been accused of that. Said, wow, you came out with your fangs. And I was like, but my thing is I've had this conversation with you 2-3 times before. And like you said, you didn't hear me. It's a different skill to hear versus to listen.
Yes.
I said, so you didn't respond or you didn't react. I said, and now I'm coming out, locked and loaded. And now you think that something's wrong with me. But as I have matured and turned 60, I said to myself, April, it's how you respond. Oh, girl, yes, I know mother has lived.
Very good.
It's how I respond to stuff. Is it really that valuable? Do I really need to get that heated? Do I need to stop, pause, take the other person's point of view, perspective, situation into consideration before I, ignite and go off? And I have found that I really do that a lot more, even with the neighbor. Girl, I was hot in fish grease to see all that going on. Took the whole corner, signs, DJ out, music out there, the whole thing every weekend. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to step back. I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to be the one on TikTok. I'm not going to argue with them. I had a strategy. You let the community council and the city council, and then let your chips fall where they may.
Right.
Okay. If they agree with it, whatever, then I have to go along with it. If they don't, I'm going to let them do what they're supposed to do. But with that, I had to learn resilience. Mm-hmm. I had to learn how to, come back and sit down and shut my cotton picking mouth and not be, the bone of contention. Right. And resilience is a hard thing to learn and to adapt. It seems easy, but it's not always easy.
Because sometimes the battle is not ours. Sometimes we can begin something and then hand it over to somebody else who has much more power and authority to change that situation.
That's right.
than you do or than we do. So many people come in like conflict is double Dutch. Somebody's saying something and they're just waiting to jump in,
right?
Rather than hearing what's going on.
Right. I get you 110%. So let's ask you some fun questions because you seem like a fun kind of girl. Kimberly L Wilson, if you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be and why?
An appliance in the kitchen, and so I think I would be the oven because I like to get things heated.
Oh Lord, see, we're polar opposites. I want to be the refrigerator because I just want to chill. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
3 wishes. One would be that my grandmother could be here. The other would be that I get to see my grandchildren and actually be a grandmother. And the other would be that I get to travel with my family.
Oh,
I know, really basic stuff.
It doesn't matter. Those are your wishes. What brings you to tears?
What brings me to tears is, just thinking about it almost brought me to tears, is the fact that my children have grown and I can't fix things for them anymore. I can't, that they have to learn some lessons and I can't help.
I know. I have a motto: life will show you better than I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's here to learn their own lessons and their own journey. That's good. What's one of your guilty pleasures? What's something you just absolutely cannot live without? I don't want to hear about them grandkids and them kids.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I used to be allergic to chocolate when I was a little girl. Really? I ate my way past that. I kid you not, I would break out.
Wow. What would you tell a 25-year-old Kimberly L Wilson?
It's not that serious.
I
would tell me it's not that serious.
That's huge. That's huge. What planet are you from?
Okay, I'm from planet F around and find out.
Well, that hasn't been identified yet in the solar system. You're funny. I'm from Jupiter. I am way, way out. I'm way out. If you could time travel, what period would you land in?
The future.
Me too.
I would probably 2050.
2050? Oh no, I want to be with Andre 3000. I want to be way out there. I want to see what's going on. That's too close to knowing what's going on here on Earth. And what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that I help people find their dreams and that I was kind.
Well, that's beautiful. That's very, very authentic. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you. I want them to work with you. I want them to check in with you. Brains, it's not difficult. And I'm reaching out to my military females because what I have found in over 1,800 episodes, 88,000 people in 42 countries, that when I talk to women in the military, there's a gap. Mm-hmm. There's a gap when it comes to how they are treated when it comes to their mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
When they're treated, when they're separated from their families, when there is how they're treated with their comrades, how they're treated after being in combat. Now, y'all can say what you want to. A soldier is a soldier is a soldier, but a woman is a woman is a woman. Mm-hmm. And there are different things, and we are wired differently. And I don't see the support given to them. And yes, is it preferential treatment? You're damn right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen them treat the dog at the Marine Corps Depot better than I've seen them treat some of their female soldiers. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I'm reaching out to you to reach out to Kimberly. If she's not the one to help you, she can definitely direct you to the resources in your area. She cares. She's been there. She's done that. She's got the t-shirt, and maybe she got the tattoo. I don't know. I ain't seen her arm. But I know that her heart is there and that she is pure and she wants to connect with you. So please share that with them, how to get in contact with you.
Yes. The best way, you can just go to my website, drkimberlywilson.com. And there's a little button that says Discovery Call right on top. You get just a free 30 minutes to connect with me.
Well, it couldn't be any easier than that. Brains, what I want you to do, if I can find my postcard, I done lost a cotton picking postcard. Now, what you think? But what you know what to do. You know how to find me. You know how to like and love and share me all over the world. Go back and listen to other edgy conversations right here at this location on the spot. Okay, at On the Edge with April Mahoney, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, Facebook. I'm going to talk to Kimberly after this, see how I can get on the TikTok. But I know that I'm right on time every time. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Kimberly Wilson. I appreciate you, value, love you, and respect you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it and love this conversation.
All right. Brains, get your head together. Bye.